Yeah, so I see also you guys got your shirts. We got our shirts on and
Yeah.
ready to get. Wait,
Are we missing
Paige,
a patch or?
what's
I
going on over there? Hold on, I
I
got to fire up my
yeah.
phone here
I
because
found out this morning that I got an exclusive
you
tee.
got a. Hold on,
Exclusive,
wait, you don't have a logo on the.
no logo.
I don't want to hear anything from anybody.
Welcome back, everyone, to your favorite podcast on the One Team Media Network, The Perks and Paving. I'm Mark, and I'm always joined by my beautiful wife, Paige. Today we got Vinnie over in the corner. Welcome back, Vinnie. And we
What's
got
up?
Jesse over in the studio today. How's everyone doing? Good?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are awesome. We are fresh off of the Top Contractor School Inter Retreat from Naples, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome experience. Vinnie did an amazing job being an MC.
Oh, thanks,
yeah.
man. You did an amazing job being there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
For anyone who doesn't know what Top Contractor School is, why don't you tell people about it?
Yeah, so I know that I feel like a lot of people in my family, they're like, well, what is this? That,
Right.
they have no idea. So you might be able to expand a little bit more, but basically it's a network of people in the contractor community that are able to come together to network, build, grow, and expand upon ideas, basically be a resource for
Yeah.
anyone else in the community. It is a magical place. Even with Mark not being a part of, paving, construction, anything of that nature a year ago, he pulled so much value from the Top Contractor School event last year. So I was very glad that you got to attend again this year, and it
Yeah.
was nice to have some more faces and see you up on stage, you and Trey just working the stage. You guys were doing so great.
Thanks. It was fun. We were just able to go up on stage, do, our friendship for everybody to see. Like, it wasn't like we had to put on our stage voice or anything.
Yeah.
So it was so much fun, and like just being a part of that. And like you said, like just the network of people that are there and a part of that. And, like our role, I think a lot of people get confused because they're like, well, you work for the pavement group, but like, why are you going to this TCS? Retreat? Like, yes, they're owned by the same guy. So like Brian runs and owns, and he's the CEO of the pavement group, and he's also the founder and the owner of Top Contractor School. So like our involvement, other than me being an MC there, is actually like, you guys are there because TPG is a member of TCS, just as other contractors and other companies are members of TCS. So we get to go there, and you guys get to grow professionally there. You're not there to work necessarily. You're there to actually, bring back. So what did you guys bring back from there that maybe was your biggest takeaway?
There was a lot. The last day we had the opportunity to do the inner circle where we elaborated on the weekend, and I think the biggest takeaway for me was, no matter where you are, whether you're in that at the TCS event, whether you're here in the office, whether you're at dinner with someone, like there is so much valuable information for you to tap into around you. Experiences, perspectives, and I think like taking advantage of the people around you, because there's people who have been through things in business and life with their family, and we have the ability to ask the questions and grow. And that, like the whole point of this weekend, the theme was personal excellence, and everyone there this weekend, their goal was to focus on that and to grow. And I think we're only going to do that by utilizing each other, bouncing ideas off of everyone, and just being that resource when someone needs it. So
Yeah.
And the theme that was stressed over and over again throughout the weekend, besides obviously the theme of personal excellence, was giving back. So, not everyone who's a part of their TCS and that retreat is a $100 million company. Of course not. No, but there's people who have been through the worst of the worst and have come out on the other side and have all the insight and knowledge and the willingness to share that with people who are going through some of the struggles.
Right.
And it's to see people from multi-generations come together, collaborate, and just genuinely care about not only how the business is doing, but how's your family doing, how are your kids doing, was a really awesome experience, as it was the very first one I went to. This was my second time going.
Yeah. I will say too, the value of family in that group, family to us is the most important. But when you are surrounded by, 100 other people who also value family the same way and were able to bring their family to that event, like I loved seeing your kids there. I love spending time with Cree and spending time with little Ava. And I got a new boyfriend while I was gone.
Oh, tell me about that.
Preston asked me officially this weekend.
Oh, man. So for those watching, Preston is Brian S.'s youngest son.
Yes.
And
He's
he
the
definitely fell head over heels for Paige because he went out
I
of his...
literally almost fell on my face at the first event, the welcome dinner, because he was on the floor like squirming behind me, and I turned around and I almost ate it. And but he is the cutest.
He went out of his way to tell me on the flight home, I'm just warning you, Mark, okay? He said, I'm now the other half of the Perks and Paige. I'm not even making that up.
Really?
That's legitimately what he
Oh
told
my
me.
gosh.
So better watch it.
Yeah.
That is
He's
so
great.
funny.
For the
Oh my
title,
god.
bro.
What
Very
did he
cute.
tell you? He told you something. Or
Oh,
you-
I was like, you're gonna tell me that she's your girlfriend right in front of my face? He's just like, yeah, yeah.
But then I saw him like squirming around some other girls, and I was like, "Are you cheating on me?"
Dude, he had options there.
Yeah.
He definitely
but
did.
I
And
think
I didn't
I'm
know.
the number one though.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I will say he did come up to me one other day and he was like, "Hey, I love Veda." Like looked at me and said that, which is my daughter. And they're the same age. And so I just looked at him back and I was like, "I love her too. Don't forget it." Like, you know?
Yeah.
So this kid, he's going to be dangerous.
Oh,
we're
I
going to have
know.
to
He
we're going to have to
is-
keep in, you know,
Yeah.
we're going to have to pull in the reins on him.
Right. But I think, as going back to, the value of family, I mean, as we, potentially look to start a family of our own in the near future, I feel like it's so encouraging because not a lot of companies and,
Sure.
groups of people like will support you being so involved with your family and bringing them to the events. But like, I think one of the biggest takeaways, which no one probably even knows of, is like, I think we left that event feeling like, when we are ready to make that step, that like we have a team of people here that support us and
Absolutely.
are, ready to, for our kids to be friends one day,
Right.
and I think that just doesn't happen everywhere. So
No doubt.
Yeah. I know
Watch
we've
me, Mark.
harped on this a lot, and you've probably done 3 or 4 podcasts talking about it already. It was discussed in the meeting yesterday, but I just want to revisit and have you share personally what it was like to be on the same stage with Ed Milet and literally shake his hand and give him a hand painting that was super meaningful. Like, kind of talk about that one more time for us and just
Sure,
let the
dude.
audience know.
Yeah.
How that
I
went.
mean, the reason that
I also, in addition to that, I want to know like what happened beforehand. So maybe start with like when you
Sure.
were asked and like bring us
Yeah.
through the whole
Yeah.
way, because like I'm sure a rush of emotions was even going through you as
Yeah.
you were asked to paint something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, just to rewind and like the reason I brought it up that I've talked about it is because like I feel kind of weird like taking credit for it
you
because
shouldn't.
I understand and I'm so grateful. Like that's what I keep coming back to this every time I'm asked about it is that like I'm up there because someone believed in me, and that someone is Brian and the community of people here that have embraced me and brought me into this family. And so like, I'm just grateful. And yes, though, it was a really special moment. And the reason I'm so grateful is because like I realized that special moment was something that was really truly gifted to me. Like I didn't need to, like that was really Brian's relationship, Brian's friend, Brian's gift to Ed. Like Brian made all that happen. I got to like step into this amazing opportunity, and Brian, just being the leader and the person that he is, allowed me to share my gift with somebody who's world renowned and like helps world leaders and people. So like, yeah, it was definitely like an incredible moment, and like just the way that it happened was, it's actually funny. This is something we haven't talked about is when Brian first told us he was going to do that episode with Ed. Like we were just really still in the very, very first few weeks of operating out of the studio. So like, our Zoom capabilities weren't really great at the time. We're still working through like what's the best scenario for those. So like that show was almost, we were like, please work,
Yeah.
like please don't screw up the
Yeah.
Ed Milet interview.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, like, I knew who Ed was just through watching content online, and he
Yeah.
actually spoke at when my wife used to sell Arbonne and work for Arbonne. He
yeah.
spoke at their retreat in Vegas. So that was when I first heard about him. Was that she heard him? He was the main keynote speaker on a stage of 100,000 people in Vegas.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, this guy's big, but like, you know, then to see him have a relationship with Brian on this podcast, I remember praying over that podcast because we were like, please let this work.
Yeah.
And then for them to jump in and like Brian bring up, you know, his grandma and have that moment on the show, I was sitting here like off camera and just like I felt like my heart was like in that conversation. Like there was this real like, you know, energy in the room. And then to see that energy, you know, get shared to the world and everybody kind of responding to that episode. And then for Brian to reach out to me and be like, hey, I want to gift him a painting. And I think that this photo of his grandma would be really cool to paint. So I just got to like step into like, you know, things that are really, really exciting because of what Brian, you know, has created here. So all that, then fast forward, you know, I wasn't even going to take the painting up on the stage because I told Brian, I was like, dude, I appreciate this is your thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian, like I up until the moment I step foot on the stage, I was just planning on like Brian meeting me at the corner of the stage and just handing them the painting and playing the MC
Yeah.
that's handing you the gift,
Right.
not the artist who did the painting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's two different hats I was wearing.
Yeah.
So it's like, but Brian being, you know, like I said, Brian, he's like, nah, come on up here. And like had me like walk, like, so I had nothing prepared to say. I had nothing, like I didn't know what, I'm not mic'd up. So like the audience can't hear me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how much do I need to say right now?
Yeah.
And just Ed's just staring at me,
Yeah.
you know, and he's staring at the painting and he's looking down and up at me. And then he just goes, did you paint this? And I was like, yeah. And so then in that moment, I don't know if you could hear, but because, you know, like I said, I wasn't mic'd.
Right.
But I just said, like, man, like what you guys talked about on the podcast with your grandma really spoke to me. But what you guys talked about today spoke to me even, you know, deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, well, he said, this speaks to me. And I was like, man, like that was really cool,
Yeah.
you know? And then we walked off the stage. He gets off stage, right? And then he shakes my hand again and he looks at me and he goes, I'll never forget you. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I'll never forget you. That's what I said back. But like,
Thanks, you too. I mean, yeah.
so what was that moment like for you guys being in the room? Like a lot of people told me it was emotional. So like, why was it emotional watching it?
Well, personally speaking, like I think that you are one of the best people when it comes to perspective. I am not, in terms of John Maxwell, the law of the navigator. Brian is the navigator. He charts the course. He sees down the line. That is probably my greatest weakness. I'm more of an operations kind of captain of the ship type of deal. And to think of where you were and how often you've talked about where you were a year ago to that moment. And then when you were on stage and talking about how you were choking up, and the minute I heard it in your voice, I was like, oh my God, here it comes. Like,
yeah. I think
it's just
that
to see
it
it all
added a
come.
whole other element of like, it was already going to be so powerful. And then like you handing it to him was just like, okay. And then the added element of Lindy being in the back of the room.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I was just like, oh geez,
Yeah.
like I'm losing it. And then I looked and I saw Tony losing it. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. And then from there, I think like there wasn't a dry eye.
Yeah.
Man.
It's
Well,
just,
it was like really special to share that with you guys because, yeah, it is one of those moments where, you know, it's something, and I said my word was proof. And I kind of got put on the spot by Trey in the beginning when he was like, all right, you're first.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for everybody, we do the circle and you go around and say your word. My word was proof because, you know, up until this point in my life, everything has been a concept for my family, you know? And yeah, I've had wins. Like I did a painting for Joey Porter Jr. this year. I did, you know, I've worked with professional athletes, you know, whatever, but like, there's few moments that like my family gets to be present for those wins. And so this was one where it's like, I'm not going to have to go home and tell her how cool it was in that room. She got to experience it. That's like one of those things where when things get rocky or, you know, you're not sure where, you know, things are moving or there's
Validation
levels.
for you.
There's complications to everything. And, you know, those are the things that you can look back on and be like, nah, I remember what that felt like. Like we're on the right path. And so it was really special for me to get to share that with all of you guys and to welcome her into that room and have her be a part of it. So, well, maybe I could throw it back to you guys. What was your words and why were they your words?
So my word was valuable, and like I commented on before, just like all the valuable information in the room, and then also going back to some of the relationships that we had the opportunity to build over the weekend. I think a lot of the times I don't feel that I have a lot of value in what I have to share, which makes it a little bit harder to jump on a podcast once a week. So I think with that, I mean, speaking with the people that I spoke with, you know, they were able to reassure me that I could provide that value to others too, where I think that's where I struggle sometimes, honestly. I mean, what is so exciting about my life, or what value do I have to share, or, you know, insight on a topic? I mean, it's not easy to sit in this chair once a week, and I give props to Brian for doing it every day, and you for doing it every day, because it takes a lot. I mean, you have to be somewhat creative. You know, you have to kind of think one step ahead. What are we going to talk about next week? Who are we going to have on? But specifically, shout out to the Abruzzi brothers. They kind of put it into perspective for us, and, you know, pumped us up a little bit. We're like, okay, we're ready to get back in there on Wednesday, and, you know,
we spent several hours talking with them, just talking about, you know, life and business and family, and you know, they were one of the people. I feel like we have like a hotel schedule with how many people we invited to stay with us the next time they come to Pittsburgh. Just like open invitation, like you guys are coming over, bring your wives. It's just that kind of atmosphere, and to talk with people who, like I said, share some of the core values of what we do every day, and to see it in other companies throughout the country, it's just energizing, man. Like,
sorry, not.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because you don't find this everywhere. And I haven't worked a ton of places, and neither have you, but I can assure you that this is not the norm. Right. And I think when you step into a room like that, you instantly just feel grateful. Like, you can't be in that room without feeling grateful. It is literally impossible. There is so much positivity, and, you know, the person next to you is just cheering for you, and it's just, from start to finish, the weekend was absolutely incredible. I have nothing negative to add. You know,
we even had like a 3.5 hour delay back home, but we spent a large part of that talking with JJ from Proline.
Yeah, that
and
was
we
nice.
sat at the gate and terminal and just talked for hours, and
wife a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a cool experience. My word in the circle was honesty. So with the theme being personal excellence, you know, that in order to grow, you have to change. In order to change, you need to be honest with yourself. Why are you doing what you're doing? Like, where are you coming from? Are you acting out of fear? Are you avoiding things? And one of the books I'm reading right now, The Alter Ego Effect, Todd Herman talks about the ordinary versus the extraordinary, and how the ordinary is motivated by fear or other forces that are pulling you down from stepping up to that next level. So for me personally, was being honest with myself with what my goals are this year, like not making excuses or just setting myself up for outs and being like, oh, well, you'll do it later, this or that. So my word was honesty, because that's where it starts.
Yeah. I think those are great words. Because, I think the reason that your podcast works is because it's honest. Like, you guys, you know, you're yourselves, and just being yourselves is something that's relatable, and it's interesting to people that you've made this career switch. And I don't even think you guys realize how important that is to see, you know, it's not about what you say every week. It's the fact that you guys made this crazy career switch. Yeah. And that people tune in and they see, wow, they still love it.
Yeah.
Wow, they still love it.
Yeah.
Wow, they still love it. Because it's like, that empowers them to then say, like, oh, this isn't just a fad that they're gonna regret, you know, because they're changing up their, like, they tune in every week and they hear you guys talk about, like, how, this was a tough week, but man, like, our team came together and solved this problem, or man, this was a tough week, or man, this was a great week at TCS, and like, you know, it's got us lit on fire to be even better this year. So
that was like a common thread and question for people, like, who, you know, I've associated with on social media, may have met once or twice, but like, so you guys were physical therapists and you do what for the payment group now? And
not physical therapy, I can assure you that.
Although I heard Mark was giving out like some massages at the event.
We had a couple team members that needed some help, but we got it done.
But yeah, so I see also you guys got your shirts. We got our shirts on and
Yeah.
ready to get. Wait,
Are we missing
Paige,
a patch or?
what's going on over there? Hold on, I got to fire up my
Yeah.
phone here because
I found out this morning that I got an exclusive.
you got a.
Exclusive.
Hold on, wait. You don't have a logo on
No logo.
I don't want to hear anything from anybody. I was sabotaged, okay? I put in the hours. You could check the cameras and check the time I started until I left, okay? And I was sabotaged. No, but yeah, you have
Hilarious.
a 1 out of 100. That's what you got to remember. Everybody else got a normal one.
I think 2 out
We
of
should
100.
probably
I saw
sign it.
someone
You should
else
probably
in-
sign it
Yeah,
and frame
I'm
it.
gonna get your signature on it.
I saw one
you
other
know what?
one.
I love that.
Yeah.
I saw one other one in the circle, Jesse.
No, you did.
You
not.
did
I
not.
saw one other
I,
one.
Did you seriously?
I
Swear.
There was only one
I
extra.
swear.
Well, not everyone was wearing them that day.
Nope,
I
it
gave,
was-
I gave Mark some crap.
Thank you.
I was like,
Thank
you're gonna
you.
wear it the day after they handed them out, and then we showed up and everyone had
Yeah.
them on. I was like, oh, okay. I
Yeah,
was like, maybe that was
Marvin's
okay.
Marvin's son.
Awesome.
Marvin's
Really?
son.
Eli?
Yeah, you guys. Eli. He's got a no logo on the front too.
Oh,
Vinny's trying to continue the sabotage on me, so just
it's all
so
right,
you all know.
Eli.
I will
If you're
not.
watching, we'll get you a signed one too.
All jokes aside, that is an aspect of the event that a lot of people don't even realize because it's like, oh, cool T-shirts. Well, we're like slowly getting into the merch game here through one team, and we bought a press and we got these transfers made. They literally came in the day before we had to leave. So
I remember being in the airport and seeing the reel of him doing it. And I'm like, how are those gonna get here? And then
They're like, oh wait, they leave tomorrow morning. That's how they're gonna get there.
Jesse worked his butt off
Yeah.
that
Congrats,
entire day. I mean, he came in at 7 a.m. We did, our morning show and our routine. And then he started pressing T-shirts until probably 10:30 p.m., which my flight left the next morning at like 7 a.m. So I checked the second bag. I went to Walmart, bought a suitcase.
Oh my gosh.
Checked the second bag, and the fact that there's only 2 shirts when
Pretty
front and
darn
back, that's
good.
200 times that you're pressing this thing.
So
Over
I want to
and
ask you, Jesse, when you started this, I know you said this is the first time you've pressed shirts.
Yes.
So this was like, a pretty big project for your first one. Did you anticipate it taking so long?
No, not at all. You know what's really funny, and I'll say this on here. I don't think I told anybody, but I actually, like, the night before, because I knew that there was a potential, and a lot of things don't. There was no, like, Jesse 100% is going to be doing this tomorrow. So I was still like, oh, maybe it's a group effort or whatever. So I calculated the night before that there was going to be 17 seconds per press. Like, so I calculated that, and that ended up being like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And I was like, all right, so there's 2 hours accounted for, probably me setting it up. So we're thinking maybe a 4 or 5 hour day. I'm thinking there's no exaggeration when it took the whole entire day. I left here, the office, by myself at I think 11:30 or something like that.
my
So
gosh.
it was, like I told you earlier, I'm usually forged by fire and a lot of stuff. I don't ever warm up. It's just like, you've never pressed shirts before, so here's 200. So we have
don't
an
mess it
event
up.
tomorrow.
Dude, he made us laugh the entire time. Like, we really had so much fun that day. Like, I mean, I didn't press a single. Like, we really had fun, man. Like, he's got a great attitude, and it goes to show, like, the team we're building here truly is special. It's full of people with a whatever it takes mentality. No matter where they sit on the bus, like, we're going somewhere, and we're going to get there together, and you just got to be on the bus.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to interject here. I do want to say real quick that expanding on the day that we had, I think a lot of times some people will look at that as a negative or, it was a really hard day and it could be a downfall. But I genuinely, and it takes a special place for you to enjoy a very stressful, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
And it was 11 hours of straight pressing that I actually enjoyed the whole entire time.
That's
and
awesome.
I woke up the next day and it wasn't like, man, yesterday sucked. It was, I'm thankful to, one, be trusted in that, and to two, be a part of it. And it just made, it made everything worth it. I create for a living. So to be able to create for this team, I'm very thankful. And I hope that that's like the slightest bit of showing the effort that I want to put in towards everybody
Absolutely.
else. So
For sure.
I do
I'd be so
appreciate you
paranoid.
guys.
I'd put them on like upside down or something. So we have to like, oh my god.
Well,
I
that's
did
what
that.
he showed me. He had his little scale. What do you call it again?
Yeah, it was a T-square, and I
T-square.
definitely didn't need to do that, but
When
we're
I got
doing
here,
excellent things
so-
around here.
Yeah.
I had to run around that morning and get a lot of last minute stuff done before we left. And I remember calling him at 10 and being like, "How many shirts are you in right now?" And he was like, "Well, I'm measuring out the T square and blah blah blah." And I was like,
Just like bang.
"Hold up, bro. How many have you printed?" And he's like, "Well, I think I got it fully set." I'm like, "Bro, start pressing because this is gonna take longer than you're thinking."
Because
And-
then you ended up having to stay until he was done too.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
even though you weren't pressing.
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
were-
had to
you were
take the shirts with me,
right,
so
right.
it was a team effort in the sense that like Jesse, like there was a lot of work leading up to it to do the design, get the t-shirts done, set up the press, like Trey cut out all the prints, like there was a team effort.
Yeah.
Jesse had a bulk of it in the middle of pressing the shirts, but then I had to go get the luggage, so it was a full team effort.
Yeah.
We knocked it out. We crushed it. TCS event was crazy. The next one is going to be even crazier. And but I'm curious before we wrap up here, what is the big picture? What are you excited about for the Perks and Paving in 2024 coming up here? Because I know we talked a little bit about this at the year end and like moving forward, but like what makes you guys come in here every day and like keep doing this?
I mean, I think the fact that we have a team together that has that whatever it takes mentality it's contagious, and we want that for the show. We want that for the company. We want that for TCS. We just want to be a part of that, and whether it's running the marathon or growing the show. I mean, we just get comfortable being uncomfortable was also a common thing that they said this weekend, and I think. Yes, I am uncomfortable being on the show, but I think we've grown, and I'm just so excited to see where we are by the end of the year. And, not that it's about followers, but like just to see who we can impact, who we can reach with our messages, and hopefully we can inspire a couple people along the way. So
I'm excited about the possibility of expanding. And what I mean by that is, yes, we come into this studio and do this podcast every day, but like going on a job site with like live pop-ins or like other reels or other, social media clips or stuff that we can do that's just not in here, like in our day to day, or just kind of making it more fun that way. Not that it isn't fun right now, but to really just kind of play around with it and even make it more of our own than it already is.
Dude, this is just the beginning. I mean, this is, once we create a brand around the Perks and Paving, you guys will be doing live podcasts at events and stuff too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I was kind of bummed we didn't get to do our on the beach. That the weather wasn't ideal for beach podcasts.
yeah,
so
we definitely had planned on,
just doing a
doing
little-
something from
That's
down
what
there.
I
But
told Miranda, I'm like, yeah, I told them I would just, use my phone. And they kept saying, maybe we'll just strap you up with the mics. And I was like, we don't even need to do that. And she was like, did they like ask you again? And I'm like, yeah, they wouldn't let the mic thing go. And she's like, yeah, you need the mic. So
I just know that literally the elements, especially at the beach where it's windy,
So windy.
true.
you'll just have, it'll just,
Yeah.
like, it'll just sound like the entire time. But I love the heart behind it. I love the idea, and
Thought it
maybe
would've
we
been
can
cool.
execute
I
it.
saw a vision.
Yeah.
I saw a vision.
I saw it too. It's just, we need to make sure that the perks are like top tier quality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not iPhone quality.
None of this
here.
Bush League stuff around
Yeah.
here.
But
Yeah. Appreciate you guys having me on today.
Yeah.
yeah,
thanks.
of course. I think before we go, we should give one last shout out to Brian. His passion for success, not only for himself, but for everyone in this company and everyone at TCS is truly contagious and inspirational. And the depth of his care and his genuine passion about everything that he does, it's just incredible to be around someone like him every day. And I know we can never say it enough, but thank you to Brian and Lori and the rest of your family for everything that you guys do. So
we didn't learn hard work working here at the Paving Group. We came here with good work ethics that were instilled by our parents. But to show up and see that guy and his family every day, there's no other motivator I need beyond that. I have my intrinsic motivation, but to see what he does for everyone here and in the community, out of just the genuine goodness of his heart, is enough fire to keep us going every day.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing that you just said too about like how these values were instilled in you, in your life, and then you found something that reflects that in leadership. It's hard to do that because I think sometimes you compromise and you turn a blind eye to like leadership if it doesn't match your core values because you're willing to do that for the paycheck. It's very rare that you get to step into somewhere where the leadership reflects fully your values and your beliefs. And then that allows me to like personally just go, put my head down. And I know that like all the day-to-day yes, no decisions, direction changes, they all have everybody's collective well-being in mind. And like, we know that, we're not going to compromise who we are for $1 and for anybody. So that allows me to just be like hyper-focused on like, how do we get to where we're going? So I definitely echo everything you guys said just now. Super grateful.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, I got one more thing here.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to flip my camera. So, Jesse, can you come to my... All right, am I on? I got this bonus shirt, too, over here.
A bonus shirt?
Oh, my God.
Wait, what are you... Oh, I was like, yeah, it was the bonus one that was hanging in
You know
his
what?
office.
He's really trying to rub this in. And you know what? That you just threw
Wait,
another
let me
person...
see it one more time. One more spin.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right. So you just threw another person under the bus. Do you understand that? All right. So I'll do it again.
Too. Yours is also exclusive.
I got another one now. So that's now we're throwing Trey under the bus because again, that was the very first print I actually did. And again, I've never done this before. So there's a stripe. There was those stripes on there, and it's the color block. And I'm assuming when it comes out of the factory, it's to show like these are the colors that were used.
Listen,
and
Jesse, I don't care what your excuses are.
No,
From
listen.
now on, you get back in that thing.
Yeah, but I
pressing
printed
those
that on.
shirts.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for throwing Trey under the bus too. So okay, keep going.
All right.
Take us
Well, that was a fun one. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week for another episode of The Perks in Paving, 8 p.m. drop time. We'll see you there.
Love you guys.